Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a beautiful Sunday. I'm just going to, if you see me looking down, looking at my iPad, so I'm just getting it queued up. Make sure that you put in the comments that you can hear and see me okay. Welcome, Marby, Prayer Warrior, Elsie, Alice, Blessed Child. Welcome, welcome. For all my members, we have 2 lives after this where I will answer your personal questions, do readings for you. And we also have a special live next Sunday for anyone that's at the Awaken Your Mind and above level, where we're going to be using tarot for self-care. And it's going to be a lot of exercises that we can do. And it's for anyone, whether you're a beginner or you're an old pro. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, let me know that you're here, all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm glad so many people showed up because I only made the link this morning. I actually totally forgot. And unlike the previous weeks, this has been an uneventful week, which I will take. I am really happy about that. It's been nice and quiet. Both of my girls are doing good, Annie and Maggie. Annie's actually watching over me right now. So I thought in this video we would do September predictions, because it's hard to believe, but it's almost the end of August, right? We're going into the 9th month of the year. It seems like it wasn't that long ago that I was making the January 2025 predictions video, and things are flying. But I think a lot of people, I've seen in the comments, that we are all feeling the same, that time has been speeding up. I am attributing that to the 4 outer planets all changing signs at the same time. That's very unusual. No living human has ever experienced that. And I wonder if we could go back in time and ask the people that did experience it, if that's what ended up happening. They felt like time was going faster. You know, it's hard to believe, but tomorrow's Monday, right? Like, where did the weekend go? Tomorrow starts the work week. So we are going to be looking at 45, Mark Carney, Putin, Netanyahu, and Gavin Newsom. In general, for September, so if you don't know, September is a big eclipse month. September 7th, we have the eclipse in Pisces. September 21st, we have the eclipse in Virgo. And I think in general, what we're going to see in September is an overall theme. Lots of water, flooding, hurricanes. I think that is going to be a theme for us in the US. I also think it's going to be a month where a lot of hidden truths are revealed. Secrets come out. People get exposed. And I think that's going to be happening in the macro and the micro, right? So I think we'll see it on the world stage, but also in our personal lives. I also believe we're going to be hearing a lot about health-related things. Health care, a disease outbreak, which I don't take lightly, but I do think we're going to hear something about that. I think that's going to be on the news. That's something that we're going to be talking about. Is there's going to be something that is contagious, that is, you know, something that has to be dealt with. So I think this is a really good time, you know, to wash your hands, keep your distance, all the practical things that you can do. Hello, Dave. Welcome. Okay, so with that, 45, I think these eclipses are going to hit him hard. And when I went into his energy, I just kept seeing dollar signs and a courtroom, which tells me he's going to have legal and financial issues come up. I really think this is a huge crisis month for him. Now, let me just preface this with saying, I think this is going to be a crisis month for everyone that I mentioned, except for Gavin Newsom. I think he'll be fine. But I think for 45, Mark Carney, Putin, Netanyahu, it's going to be a pivotal month for them. It's going to be a game changer, and not in a way that they're going to like. This isn't going to be something that they want to have happen. One of the things that I think we're going to see happen with 45, yes, I think we're going to be hearing about scandals, things coming out that maybe wasn't public knowledge. But I also feel like his base, his supporters, are shaken. And we've already seen so many of them turn against him, right? I think that's going to happen even more. Okay. Now, with him, we know that his health is an issue. I don't know if you saw him Friday night at the White House. You know, he was in the Oval Office. He wore the red hat saying, you know, he was right all along or something like that. And for the first time, when I looked in his eyes, if you haven't seen that video, look at the video so you can see what I mean. His eyes had the stereotypical dementia look. When somebody is well in the throes of dementia, they get a look in their eyes, right? So most of people like me, right, dementia practitioners, when we say that we can spot dementia a mile away when we look at somebody, that's what we're talking about. It's that look. And I will just say, this is my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. Take from this what you will. And we keep seeing again and again that he's applying makeup to his hand. Now, I get it. You guys know how many surgeries I've had, how many times I've been in the hospital. I can't tell you how many times I have done the same thing, because you get an IV, you're bruised, but you have to be in front of the public. So it's not a mystery, I don't think, what's happening. I don't think that's a psychic prediction. That's just reality. However, I hope that I blended the makeup a little bit better. If you notice too, he's walking like this, like a serpentine fashion. There's a lot going on, right? He doesn't look well. And for him, I think September is going to be a very chaotic month. And I think it's where the cracks start to appear in his presidency in a way that he can't deny and he can't run from. Something starts in September that he's not going to be able to walk away from. This is the beginning of the end. Okay. I'm going to pull some cards for you. Let me keep my hands up here so you can see. Let me see. Let me, if I see, can I just pull it down? Yeah, I can pull it down a little bit. Okay. Oh, and welcome to my living room, by the way. Slowly, you're getting a grand tour of my house. So, all right. So what do we need to know about 45 in September spirit? Okay. So it's interesting because this is the one card where the character is holding the world in his hands and he's contemplating something. He is trying to figure things out. He's trying to make a decision, right? And this tells me that this has an international flair. Okay. So I think something that we find out, that we learn, either is international or it affects him on the world stage. Okay. Obstacle. Okay. So if you're not familiar with me, my first card is sort of like what's at the heart of the matter. My second card is the obstacle or challenge. And then the subsequent cards are the outcome cards. So Four of Wands is wonderful when it's not your obstacle, right? Because it's the card of achievement, success, reaching your goals, happy marriage, graduation, weddings, like all those wonderful things in life, right? And that's his obstacle. Having success, having accomplishments. Or if we take this quite literally, the things that he would consider to be his successes and his accomplishments have now become his obstacle. Okay. You can't make this up. You can see my hands. The Judgment card. Okay. You know, Archangel Gabriel is right there blowing his horn, passing judgment. Okay. So, like I said, I feel like for him, September has a very legal flair to it. This is, I have three legal cards. This is one of the three. I'm going to go one more out. Fertile new beginning. Okay. Ace. Interesting. Five of Cups. Okay. And we kind of get the Five of Cups for him a lot. So let's look at the Ace of Wands. Because in general, that's actually a positive card. So how should we interpret that? What is this new beginning for him? Oh, interesting. A card of great change. So if you pair it up, um, so this is going to be like the start of a drastic change. Now, Five of Cups is the card of loss, sorrow, crying over spilt milk, right? This character is sad. Something has been lost. It's a card of grief. So I really feel like, yes, this is going to be an issue. June says astrology in September is bad for his health. It is. Yes, the way it hits his chart, it is. He is not a well man. Indeed. So let's go on to Mark Carney. Now, I haven't talked about him in a while. And if you remember when I did talk about him last, I said something to the effect of, come the fall, I sort of see the Canadian people turning their backs on him. And I think it's because he's going to be presented with something that's impossible. I think he's a perfectly fine prime minister. I have nothing against him. But I do think he's going to have let's say, obstacles. He's going to have obstacles in front of him, challenges in front of him. His leadership comes under crisis in September. I feel like his leadership is tested. He feels burdened. And I feel like it directly has to do with the economy and the US. So this is what Ever 45 is going to be doing to him. And I think, it's going to be like a trial by fire. I think he's going to try to do his best, but I think it's going to be difficult. Let's pull some cards for Mark Carney. Mark Carney. What do we need to know? Okay. Yeah, so this definitely does have something to do with finances. Queen of Pentacles. However, he is grounded, because she is grounded. But also, too, she's a little bit softer, right, than the King of Pentacles. She has a mothering, nurturing energy. He cares about Canada. Whatever you may think of him, I don't know how my viewers in general feel about him, but I'm going to say, no matter how you feel about him, he's someone that does care about his country. He does care about policies and Canada's economy and, its citizens. The obstacle, yes. Okay, the world. So I was correct. So this has to do with, the US, things that are international, things out in the world. Not necessarily what's going on in Canada in and of itself, because I don't think the problems that he's going to be facing would actually be happening if it wasn't for 45. So he gets presented with all these choices about what he can do, and he does not like any of them. Four of Cups. He is sort of feeling forlorn, right? There's a sense of apathy. He's not liking these decisions. However, he is able to strike up, Ace of Cups, new relationships with other leaders, other countries. He is going to make the best out of this. The Magician. He's going to be able to work his magic with this. So I like that for him. Let me know if because on my end, it looks like my video froze. Just let me know if that happened. So I think he's going to be okay. I hope. But on the other hand, I think he's really going to be tested in September. I think it's going to be a really difficult month for him. Okay, so moving on, looking at Vlad. Now, I have said before, I do believe Putin has a lot of health issues, right? I've said for a long time now, I do believe, for entertainment purposes only, that he has Parkinson's. And I hope this isn't too controversial, but when he did visit the US, I do not believe that was him. When I was watching it, as it was being broadcast, I was like, that is not his energy. That is not him. And then if you start noticing, well, he wasn't acting like him, was he? That person was acting very different, very much like the person that they parade out as Kim Jong-un, right? All of a sudden with Kim Jong-un, they was parading out this man that was laughing, smiling, picking up children, holding children's hands, totally different. And you could look, they look different. You could tell somebody looks similar, but different. And then people started really nitpicking, and it was really obvious, right? So Putin never moves his right arm when he walks. This person was. This person was smiling. He was jovial. He was throwing faces at the audience. I mean, it was very strange. I do not believe it was him. I could be wrong. And, you know, time will tell. But I do think for September, it's a high stakes month for him. I think it's a pivotal month. I think it's a month of crisis. And I really feel strongly that alliances start to shift for him because things get exposed. There's secrets coming out. People are starting to learn things that they don't like. And when I say alliances shift, I think it's going to be foreign and domestic. So I feel, and I get this feeling with Netanyahu too, that the people that are closest to him, the people in his cabinet, the people he surrounds himself with, all get shifted and changed. So I think Vlad is going to have a difficult September. I don't foresee him going anywhere, but I think it's going to be a very challenging month for him. I guess it's not easy being an evil dictator, right? Okay. You know, the cards are a little jumpy with him. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, so the moon card, sort of the classic card for secrets, illusions, and that's exactly what I was getting with him. You know, things coming to the surface, learning about things. You know, we don't see clearly in the moonlight, do we? It's not the sun card. So I think a lot gets revealed about him, the things he has done, some of his inner workings. Obstacle, Three of Cups. I mean, the Three of Cups is a great card, right? It's a card of joy, celebration, having a good time with friends, right? But for him, there is no joy, there is no happiness. And I think it's because for him, it's a bit of a nightmare, right? Here he is, the hermit, and I'm going to take this card literally and say he feels isolated, which is what I said, right? The people that he was counting on, both on the world stage and in his, direct cabinet, the people he typically deals with, they're pulling away. There's a shift, there's a change there. He's feeling, wow, really burdened and battered. He's having a tough time. He's having to just feel like he's persevering. So this is not a man that is thriving. Interesting. But Ace of Cups, he will form new alliances, but there is a major shift with support for him. And I think it's not going to go the way he likes. I do see the war with Russia and Ukraine continuing. I don't see that just going away overnight. Even though it's been so long, my goodness, hasn't it? I feel so sorry for those people. All right, looking at Netanyahu, he's another one that I was really drawn to because I think it's a month of crisis for him also. So he's coming under a lot of foreign global pressure in September, I believe. I also, just like Vlad, I see a shift in his cabinet. His public image is now scrutinized. Okay, people are looking at him in a different way. Unfortunately, I think that makes him double down on some of the things that we have been seeing him do. So I don't think that this is good for Palestine. I don't think it's good for those folks who are on the Gaza Strip. I've said before, I do not think that they're going to be able to return to their homes, unfortunately. I think he is going to get his way, and nobody is really stopping him. So let's pull a few cards for Netanyahu for September. Interesting. So the star card is, first of all, it's a positive card, right? But it's also my card. I have two cards for the US. That's one of them. So I think you may hear something about us and Israel in September. Oh, interesting. And you see how I put the cards back, right? Like I open up the deck. So his obstacle, and this is, I think, why I was drawn to both Putin and Netanyahu, is because they have a lot in common in September. So his obstacle is he is also feeling pretty miserable, right? Both are feeling pretty downtrodden. Yeah, unfortunately, he does get the chariot. So he does keep plowing forward. There's a lot of forward movement, and that's what I was seeing. Yes, I think he gets tested in a lot of ways, but I think the more he gets tested, the more he ramps up. Five of Cups. He's not happy about any of this, though, because clearly he's not getting his way in the way he was hoping for, the way he wanted to. So there is some sadness here. And he is in for a lot of changes. Yes, I do think the people around him and on the world stage are going to be changing. I think there's going to be a drastic change with that. I'm going to pull one card just as a clarifier for Netanyahu. I'll use my kitty cat deck over here. Is there something else that we need to know about yet Netanyahu? There's something else that would be helpful. Eight of Swords. So he is feeling a bit restricted. He is not getting his own way in the way that he would like. Yeah, something shifts and changes for him in September. I think he's still going to be him, right? But he's not going to get everything that he was hoping for. And it clearly has something to do with us in the United States. So looking at Gavin Newsom, oh my goodness. So I don't know if you've been following him on social media, but I'm getting a kick out of it. But like I said, I really do see Democrats acting a bit different in the future, Republicans acting different. And so I think he's going to go quite a ways. All right. I think September for him is going to be about building alliances, making new relationships with people so he can go forward, right? I mean, because everything he's doing is to run for president in 2028. I do believe September is going to be a continuation of resetting his public identity, his public image. I think he's going to feel quite empowered. And this starts a new chapter for him. I think he becomes more influential. We're looking at him more in September. So, I mean, his trolling is just perfect, isn't it? It cracks me up. Okay. What do we need to know about Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom in September. And don't forget, if you want to take that class, Tarot and Self-Care, it's next Sunday evening. And that's for Awaken Your Mind and Above members. And tonight, members, I'm going to be doing your personal readings for you. I'll do as many members as I can. Okay. Queen of Cups. Thing with Queen of Cups, she has a lot of emotional intelligence. She is sweet. She is kind. But also, too, because it is cups and it's water, she has a good instinct. She has that good gut instinct. She is intuitive. And I think that's getting him quite a ways with all of this. Okay, but he's not getting everything that he wants in September. He feels like, all right, Four of Wands, there's more for me to accomplish. There's more goals for me to go after. It's interesting how he's getting psychic cards, because the other meaning of the moon card is psychic, intuition, all of that stuff. And so I wonder if he's sort of going deep in the month of September. But also, too, I think we're going to be, on our end, finding out more about him. More gets revealed. We start to see more of who he truly is. Love it. The strength card. So the strength card is about having inner strength, courage, patience. Yeah, I think he has what it takes to go the distance. I think he is going to really take off. And then at the bottom of the deck, the justice card. He's somebody who's fair and balanced. Any legal things are going to go his way. And that also makes me feel like he's going to get his way with redistricting California. Okay, so I think he's doing the right things. And if you remember back in January, that was my prediction, right? So let's finish up. I have a new oracle deck that I have to show you. Wing, Hoof, and Paw, an animal companion oracle. And you guys know I love like a nice box and presentation. It's by Angie Sullins, and it has a magnetic strip here. And when you open it, it's gorgeous. It comes with a bag. Comes with a really nice book. It's illustrated with each card. It's really nicely packaged. And even when you take the cards out, the box is still beautiful. So I love that. So, all right, just ask what message. Oh, and before I say that, look at the edges. Can you see that it's like this purple foil? All right. So just ask, what message would Spirit like to give you today? Take a nice deep breath. Okay. And then just use your intuition, your gut instinct. Which one do you think Spirit's calling you to? 1, 2, or 3? Or it can be more than one. That's fine. Here we go. Card number 1, Dolphin, pleasure. And also 2, it's an angel number. It's 4-4. So where in your life do you need to incorporate more pleasure? Or do you just need to do things that are more pleasurable in general, right? That's your sacral chakra. If you want to manifest, if you want to have an abundance of all things that are good and wonderful, you have to enjoy life. You have to have a certain amount of pleasure. What brings you pleasure? What's that hobby that you do that you lose all track of time? Spirit saying it's time to do it again. Number 2 is the elephant, and it's communication. And I'm drawn to how the trunk is pulled in towards the elephant, which makes me think of self-talk, how you are talking to yourself. Sometimes the way we talk to ourselves it's so much harsher than the way we would talk to others, isn't it? But also too, wait a minute, it's communion. Oh, I'm blind as a bat, but I am still drawn to that it's drawn inwards. So communion, okay, that actually changes it a little bit. Let's look, because you know what, this book is so gorgeous. Let's look. How is your tribe? Is it time to gather together? And what of your inner family? How do your inner patriarch, matriarch, and child get along? Okay, so it is inner, right? Okay. Is there conflict within all parts of yourself? Is there communion within your community? I have so many people, when they get a reading with me, they ask, when am I going to find my tribe, right? Elephant is a nurturer and is fiercely loyal to her tribe. So, yeah, really beautiful. And then lastly, number 3, the rabbit, which is listening. And you can see like his ears are just perking and standing up. So, you might quite literally hear something, in the next week or so that is important. But also too, when I say like, watch your diet, it's not just things that you're eating and drinking, right? It's what you're hearing, what you're listening to, right? The music, having too much background noise. And are you listening enough? Are you listening to your own needs? So, all right, everyone, this has been a pleasure. I'm going to take a little break before I meet up with members. And I hope everyone is having a beautiful Sunday night. Enjoy yourselves. It's gorgeous here in Salem. It's been sunny and warm all day. And I hope you have a wonderful work week too, for those of you that work. All right. Bye, everybody.